Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversation with an Expert. Today, I am joined by Lindsey Fredrick, the owner and founder of Tart.
Yes.
Welcome, Lindsey.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming in. I know a lot of times when we have conversations with experts, it's more in the financial realm. You are in a completely different industry. Tell us about your industry.
Yes, so I own a beverage company, Tart. It is a healthy lifestyle beverage focused around tart cherry and mineral water. So we are certified organic, only 5 ingredients, and it really started organically from my kitchen at Michigan State when I was a student there. I really loved the benefits of tart cherry, but I didn't like the taste, so I started mixing with some different things that I had in my fridge and came up with this drink that snowballed into the business.
Wonderful. Well, we're so excited to have you here and to learn more about your business and you. What were the biggest financial risks that you took early on, and how did you decide to kind of gamble and take those on?
Coming straight out of college, I didn't have a lot of savings to put into it on my own. And a lot of other brands, they've worked for a while in their careers and saved money, or maybe they come from money or XYZ, and I wasn't in either of those scenarios. Mm-hmm. So I think gambling on myself in not getting a 9-to-5 when I graduated mm-hmm. and really diving headfirst into this business that I don't pay myself with has been the biggest challenge, but also it's so fun.
Are you focusing more on growing and scaling or the profitability of the company right now?
I think that there's a nice balance between both, and tart cherry is on its way up in the trends and trajectory of beverage and just like flavor profiles in general. Mm-hmm. And as much as it would be great to go viral and blow up, it's also great to do a slow, continuous, strong growth strategy. And I think that right now I'm finding myself in the middle of both of them. We've had some viral moments, and we've been able to really capitalize on the uniqueness of our product, but there is a lot of behind the scenes where you don't want to grow too quick and expand too quick.
How do you financially plan for that uncertainty as trends kind of emerge and change in your industry?
Making our production batches that'll last us all year, we are doing them on a quarter by quarter basis, and a lot of the other things we do as well, marketing and like projections and supply chain are all based on a quarter by quarter basis, which I think is helping us a lot in keeping up with the speed of culture and making sure that we're not putting too much money into something that isn't sustainable for what the trends and growth are going into in the industry. I think that as I grow and as the company gets larger, there's a lot of just predicting and seeing what other people are doing. And I think that that's something really fun to look out for also.
Collaborate with local businesses is having products here in our office, not the traditional financial products, but like Tart, where clients can kind of offer a healthy beverage. And so that way we're kind of encouraging them to live, the lifestyle that we hope that they can.
Yeah, I love that. And Tart really is for the healthy routines and healthy lifestyle of everyone. Tart cherry is a superfood, as I did mention, and so it has about 50 different health benefits, and those span for all ages, all genders, like everyone. It's not something for only adults or only kids or everyone in between. Like, it's really good for muscle recovery and anti-inflammation, but it's also good for helping you focus and get your daily antioxidants. Growing up, I had a lot of allergies and gut health problems. At my peak, I had about 35 allergies, and I was always raised in a very organic and whole foods household. We would make everything from scratch, from brownies to tortillas, and that was all great, but I had a really limited diet, and I was also really picky on top of my allergies. So when I got to college, and growing up, I was always very content with that. That's all I knew, is that I had a ton of allergies and couldn't eat much. Sure. But when I got to college and started cooking for myself, and I had a roommate, and I was seeing what she was making, and I was intrigued with finding more nutritional, dense foods for my diet. A lot of my allergies were very random and healthy foods like carrots, strawberries, bananas, cucumbers, not your typical dairy or gluten. So I was looking for foods that had more nutritional value and started learning about superfoods. And I now have a ton of superfoods that I love in my diet. But one of them that I really wanted to have in my diet was tart cherry, and I didn't like the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like how everything stemmed. And then I just started mixing it with different things that I had in my fridge as a college student and was able to find a good concoction that worked. And I think that because I was able to change my own health journey, it's just been so valuable to not only introduce tart cherry to people who didn't know that it had a ton of benefits, but just share what I enjoy with everyone else.
Yeah. And if you could give advice to maybe your younger self or someone that's also experiencing not necessarily severe allergies, but just wanting to change their lifestyle and eat and live healthier, what would be your advice to them?
I, growing up, always have looked at the ingredient label, and I could tell you every single ingredient in a Cheez-It if you asked. Like, I grew up just looking at all the labels because I had to with my allergies, but I think it's so valuable to see what you're actually putting in your body. And for Tart, we make our own mineral water, which I think is really cool. We add 3 types of salt and then one other mineral with some RO water, and that's it. And then we sparkle it and add tart cherry, cranberry, lemon, and lime. So it's super simple, and that's something that I was very passionate about. I didn't want any additives.
What great advice. And it's kind of going back to the basics of
Yes.
just knowing what you're putting in your body. Yeah, good. And how it works for you.
Yes.
When did you realize like scaling the business takes a different financial mindset than maybe someone that is, not trying to scale as big as you are?
I think that one of the things I learned between pre-launch and post-launch is the power of marketing for brand awareness and marketing for sales. And I have a degree from Michigan State in marketing, so I'm super interested in all of the things, but I never noticed that there was such a large difference. And when you're marketing for just for someone to know about your product, and you can't sell it yet because you don't have it, so you're just trying to get the word out and make it look cute and all the things. It's way different than actually marketing for a sale, and where you are showcasing what the benefits are, how to purchase, where to purchase, why to purchase, like why they need it. And I think that so far our most valuable marketing tool has been social media because it is free. And that's something I think everyone should take advantage of. TikTok and Instagram, even LinkedIn, such valuable marketing platforms that don't cost any money, and I think make it really seamless to promote your product for free and get a large audience without having to put any of that capital behind it.
What is your approach on social media?
Before even having our production, was starting to build in public, which is a really common thing now for my generation. When people are building a brand and they're showcasing all of the behind the scenes, I think it's something that a lot of people are interested in, just because I know I've had a lot of people message me saying, I've always wanted to do that, but I never had the idea or the guts to, so they kind of like live vicariously through how I'm doing it, which I think is really cool. And I think that showcasing the behind the scenes, it adds like a vulnerability that people put a face to the brand, which is really important.
Setting yourself up for success and separating yourself from your competitors.
I think a big thing I've noticed is consistency, and just even if you're able to post one thing a day or one thing every other day, it does make a big difference, because I see every single post that I post, but everyone else doesn't see every single post. So if you post 7 posts a week, then one person might only see 2 of those posts. But if you only posted 2 posts a week, then they might not see either of those. And so I think that the consistency of everything, even if it's something small or you're repeating something you did a month ago in a different context, I think it's just valuable to really stay upfront and consistent with what you're doing, because you'll have a larger growth and audience.
Yeah, it's kind of that consistency, but it's also like the muscle memory of doing it, doing the same activity. We kind of equate that to like budgeting for clients. Like if you set up a systematic saving where you're doing it every month on the same day, the same dollar amount, you're building that muscle memory, and then it just becomes normal. Effective. What's one of the lessons that you learned early on that you feel like every business owner or founder should have an understanding of?
I think something I wish I might have learned this in school, but I probably wasn't paying it. I didn't like finance, so I probably wasn't paying attention to it. But I think it's valuable to understand how payment systems work, and specifically in grocery and just product-based businesses. A lot of times, if someone buys a product, say a grocery store or a person buys a product from you on Tuesday, you're not guaranteed the payment on Tuesday. The payment terms could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or even just 7 days. And I think that making sure that you're budgeting a runway for when you would be allocating the money and make sure that you have enough for your growth, even though that money is not coming in immediately, is something I wish I learned kind of before getting into production and like realizing kind of how that all went. And I always knew that there was something like that, but I didn't understand the extent of accrual versus actual like cash models and things like that.
Yeah, it is challenging. I think a lot of business owners struggle with that. For our audience that's listening, where can they find Tart? Where can they buy this?
So Tart, we're sold in single cans, and we also have 4-packs. So you can find us and a lot of places in Clarkston and in Michigan. We're at places like Alex's Market, Essence on Main, down more towards Detroit, we're at like Eaton Market, Lucky's Detroit Coffee. But if you're looking for somewhere near you specifically, you can go on our website and you can order there. Or we also have a link where you can do Find Tart and just put in your zip code and find it near you. So our website is drinktart.com, and you can find us all of our information on there.
Wonderful. Lindsey, thank you so much for sharing your story, and we wish you the best of luck and much success.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.